Okay, Monica here. I am at Cynthia's bee yard. She's a brand new beekeeper and has 3 hives. One of them was a European, is it a Carniolan,
Yep.
that one?
Carniolan.
It was a Carniolan who we noticed had a daughter. So the daughter bred with the local feral Africanized hybrids, and the hive has turned out to be a little spicy, a little nastier than what we'd like. And then another hive that she has was actually a removal that she did from her niece's house.
Yes, my niece.
Her niece's rafters. And so Cynthia saved those bees and now has them at her house. And so that one is a feral that needs to be requeened anyway. And she's got 1 European left, an Italian, I believe,
Yes.
is doing quite well. So, and she just did mite treatment on that.
Yes.
So we're almost ready for winter, but what we're going to do real quick is Cynthia ordered in some queens, and we're going to do queen introduction today on 2 different hives. The small hive is the one that Cynthia pulled out of her niece's rafters. It is actually recuperating from a removal. So there's a lot of comb that was transferred and then rubber banded into empty frames. And so with that hive, the bees are not as, the hive is not as large, and the aggressive level is pretty minimum. Little temperamental, but not really quite super like we want to kill you kind of attitude. They're just like, you know, on our scale of 1 to 10, I'd say that there may be basically a 5 or 6. And because of that, we're going to do just a standard queen introduction. Although because they are feral Africanized, we killed their queen 4 days ago. And now we're about to go in there and we're going to look for queen cells. But first, the queens that Cynthia got in the mail came like this. You'll see them come into a cage, and the queen luckily is already marked, so we don't have to do that. When you mark a queen, I always recommend the Posca. They're non-toxic acrylic queen marker. This actually, white is the color for next year, which is perfect. And this year's queens are blue and last year's queens are green. So the reason why we do that, it's an international queen color marking system where we can actually tell just by looking at the queen very quickly how old she is. And queens usually last about 3 to 4 years. So with that being said, it's really nice to just go, oh, that was green. She's a 2019 queen. And you don't have to keep records or anything like that. You can just look at the color of the marking pen. I've seen it advertised that you only need to mark it once in the queen's lifetime. That is not necessarily true. We, on many occasions, see the queens have the mark chewed off by her attendants. So you always want to at least get your eyes on your queen once a month, a minimum, once a month. I can't stress that enough. Once a month minimum, just to make sure her mark is still on her, and if they've chewed it off or it's starting to wear down, remark her. So have this on hand, and if you're very nervous around queens and marking queens, practice on drones. The other thing you can do is get a nice handy tool, a queen marking tool. Those are great. To pick up the queen at first, you can use a little queen clip to grab her. But always wear a very thin glove when you need to, or no gloves at all if you're that brave. If you have to handle a queen. Gloves like this, you cannot feel the queen. You have a tendency to smash her. Queens have in the past fainted. So if all of a sudden you have a queen just laying there, don't write her off right away. It might be that she just passed out, and she'll revive herself very shortly. And queens, when they arrive like this, it depends on how long that they've been banked by the queen producer. If they've been banked for a period of time, of course they've their egg production has shriveled up. They've kind of like skinnied up, and they are literally in a swarm type physique. They are at their skinniest, and they can fly. They can fly extremely well. So if you just open this cage up, your queen can just take off. You don't want to do that. There goes a bunch of money. Bye, money. So no. One of the things I like to do, the other thing, I'm going to note this also, queens can sting. Yes, queens can sting, especially when their production is shriveled up. So the stinger can get past her egg laying, where she would normally not sting you. But if they're shriveled up and she's kind of irritated, she's been in a cage, banked for a period of time, she's a little grouchy, and she can sting, and let me tell you, that hurts. To me, a queen sting hurts worse than a worker bee. And that tends to surprise you, even drop her, you tend to drop her. So what I'm getting at here is that they sell things that are like, basically I call it a queen muff. You know how like ladies will put their hands in a muff to keep warm in the winter time. So you can purchase a queen muff, or you can make one yourself. This one here is just a simple over the hat style veil. So at this end would be where the hat would go, and at this end would be where you would tie it up around your neck, right? So instead of using it as a veil, I'm literally using it as a queen muff. So I can literally, here we go, take the cage, put it right inside, and get down to a level where I'm closing off the ends where my arms are in, and open it up that way. And we're gonna do that here in just a second, because these queens came with attendants, and I don't like putting attendants into the Africanized hybrid hive. It just puts more scent that they're not familiar with, and we're already kind of freaking them out by introducing a different queen. So be right back.